Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to More Books, Cannabear, Fibre Oats, Bogey, Michael Kahn, Rob H, Ben White, Maximum Gravy, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Will Brax, Mel B Styles, Troy Shuker, Harry Blade, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Lost Cat FE, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Muted, Maria Nealands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, The Real Gabster, Liam Nedrick Jr., Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, and David Wayne Foster. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Virus and Xanax. And the more and more I rewatch it, I'm like, dude, like, they're just in cognitive dissonance as always, especially like Xanax.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I'm going to release another one on... I didn't trim any of the virus section out. I just did Xanax, so I've done virus. That'll come out on Saturday. It was out for a short time for members only.
Nice.
And then there's another one that's coming out. I'll probably publish that on Sunday, but that is still members only. From, I think it was the guy on Monday. Got 3 chances to address the elevation angle argument and didn't. And then he got kicked out. You might
Okay, yeah. I know
what
you're talking about.
You may not have been in the server at that point. Hey, John. Hear us, John? Right, he's obviously stepped away from his mic. Alrighty then. Is that a newbie? Constantine?
Oh, that was quick.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. And hello and... Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Constantine.
Hey.
Are you new? Or have I just not recognised that you've been here many times before?
No, I couldn't talk. I was blocked out, and also now I'm not.
Oh, fair enough.
Hey.
Well, you're new to me. What brings you here? There's no one else chatting.
I was invited over here.
Invited over here. Oh, that sounds interesting. It's generally an open invitation, open door, but who invited you then?
It was Cowboy.
Cowboy? I don't know who that is, sorry.
Cuddles.
Who?
Yeah, Cowboy, I think that's Cuddles.
I don't know who Cuddles is.
Isn't that his name too? Like, doesn't his name have Cowboy in it, I think?
I don't know.
The guy with Cowboy.
Okay, so when you say invited over, was there a purpose he wanted you here, or whoever he may be?
You talk to me.
Yeah. Just getting the lowdown on what you are, who you are, how come you're here, etc.
It's Cuddles Cowboy. Cuddles, whatever his name is.
No, we got that. But was there a reason? Was there a reason he invited you over?
I guess he wanted his backup, I guess. I don't know.
Backup? This isn't a war.
Truth.
We're not going in commando style. What do you mean backup? I'm really confused now.
Listen, because I tell the truth,
Okay, that's good to know. Truth about...
Well, anything I talk about.
Okay, you know what this show's
Even though
about?
you might not believe it, even though you might not believe it, we have disagreements, I still tell the truth. I'm not going to cuss all the time, I'm not going to, cuss all the time. I might screw up, but, I'm not going to go back on my word or anything, so, like that other, I'm not going to talk behind her back, so, anyhow, can we move
Okay.
on?
I'm glad we cleared all that up. But this show's about the debate in regards to the nature of the surface of Earth. Did you have any inclinations or motivations in that direction specifically? Was that why Cowboy, Cuddles, whoever he is, sent you in for backup?
No. Well, that was bad.
Can you pop yourself on mute, Sinclair? I think you're causing a bit of feedback. Thank you. So, what side of the argument are you on, Constantine?
This is nothing like pulling teeth.
Nothing like it, pulling teeth now.
Were you calling me Constantine? Because I wasn't on. Who are you talking to, me or somebody else?
Somebody else.
I'm saying, why would he be addressing me by my last name?
You're not Constantine. Not
Yeah,
everything's
but
about
that's
you,
when everybody
Neil.
makes a mistake.
Not everything's about you.
Yes, it is. How's your ribs anyway, Nathan? The heck is this new thing?
What new thing? What are you on about?
Your ribs. I read something in Master Peter. You said you broke your ribs? Is that from the incident?
Barbecue. Barbecue ribs, Neil. Barbecue, Neil.
Yes, I broke my ribs 6 weeks ago, Neil.
You need to go on a vacation, Nathan. Nice. Not no week without flat out debate. 4 days, Thursday to Sunday.
Yes, this might sound strange, Neil, but as much as that information's new, nothing's actually changed. I'm no different to yesterday.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yes, indeed. Well, that was a great conversation, Constantine. Thanks for that. I've established that you're trustworthy, wouldn't talk behind my back, you won't swear. All good stuff.
And just so you know, Nathan, I am not trustworthy. I will talk behind your back. And I can't remember anything else. I got a short memory.
Well, at least have the common decency to do that while I'm not there.
That's because you're an ex-baller.
So are you.
So are you waiting for the cavalry?
Reluctantly, yes.
Are you waiting for the cavalry then, Constantine? Is that, you said you're backup, which means that, like, that infers things, right? I'm intrigued now. He's not playing. Okay, fine.
He's got a militia come. Maybe like the old days of your show where they like attacked en masse.
Maybe. This room's got a limit of 13 people, though, so given that there's 11 there already, I don't think the cavalry will make it through.
Why does he need a cavalry?
I don't know. We've just invented the cavalry, Neil. We're just speculating because the guy's been very elusive. What do you want?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening the first few minutes. Sorry.
You thought we were talking about you, Neil.
Yeah, but now I know you're not.
Have you ever watched those Senate subcommittee hearings where they're like questioning somebody that's obviously guilty of something, and like they start giving one-word answers to the, like, because there's usually a political influence on one side or the other, and when they're being questioned by the opposition, they give one-word answers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I like the body language guy.
The body language guy? Who's the body language guy?
He reads people's reactions to questions, by what they do with their physical being, how they respond to answers.
That's not what I meant. You said physical. You said a guy.
Yeah, I know that's not what you meant, but that's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Because the behavioural panel look at that, and I've mentioned them a few times. I thought you tuned into one of their shows, perhaps. Hey, 10th.
Good morning. Hey, Nathan, what show is today's number?
15.
Repeat, please.
1618.
Thank you.
Where do you reckon we got all the disclaimers about how
I
trustworthy
read
he
that.
was? What was all that about? I'm still
Signal, I
intrigued.
probably won't be in the live show much.
Oh, okay.
So I was able to listen to the whole show on the drive back from Idaho yesterday. I got in late, so I'm kind of tired, but the part with virus coming on, then going off, and then coming back on, and then Xana coming on. So,
1613.
yeah. I mean, Zanuck knows what he's doing. He's just wasting our time. He's purposely misusing words, especially the part, oh, I thought you were talking about the bubble sextant. So they know what they're doing, at least he does. And I think they all kind of do the same thing anyway, which is come here to obfuscate and pretend that they're talking on a different aspect of something, in this case, the sextant. Excuse me. So it was quite interesting to just listen to the words and see how he was going to try to get around the elevation angle. And he's trying to say, well, the bubble sextant. And then you guys were saying, well, we're not talking about the bubble sextant, talking about the sextant used at sea. And then he'd say, yeah, but shouldn't they work the same? Which I wish someone would have caught that. Because
I did catch.
yes,
Excuse me. Number one, I
Okay.
did catch that. What I did was take him back onto the point that what he's trying to do by arguing the toss about whether or not they're same is get it to be segued off onto the bubble sextant so he can use his zenith. Right, that's what he's trying to do. Now, I did pick up on it, but pointed out immediately that he's trying to take us away from the ground. Far more devastating, far more likely to make him relinquish that attempted segue. Then, in the next breath, I said, and they would work the same because of parallel zeniths. I did say that.
Yeah, no doubt. And we got to keep him on the ground. So I'm glad you made that point. It was eventually going to get to why they're doing it. But yeah, it's good to bring that up. But the point is, even with the bubble sextant and the phraseology of should they work the same? Well, this is what I put to Virus. I said, well, if you're going to use an artificial horizon with the bubble, the spirit level, and the bubble sextant, or do you not have a horizontal line emanating from the vertex of your eyes where there's no dip correction needed because it's right there at your eyes? And how far does that go? And is that straight? He goes, oh, that goes straight forever. I said, great, welcome to flat Earth, because the very same thing happens when you're at sea, not using the bubble sextant, but the actual sea horizon, the ground, and doing dip to get your eyes to sea level or eye level, where it would be just like in the bubble, to where you'd have that straight horizontal line all the way out to the GP. So, yeah, they do work the same. You're using two different references. One, you're using the reference point of your eyes with a bubble to represent flat Earth, horizontal line. The other one, you're representing the actual flat Earth, but you're 10 feet above the water, so you got to do dip. So either way, they're screwed.
Yep. Meanwhile, they don't have a physical geometric spheroid for a horizon. We only have one. Theirs was geometric with a straight line to it, and they've spent 2 years telling us how bent the line to the non-geometric position that they won't be doing dip corrections from is. How embarrassing.
Total. This is what the point I wanted to make. And that drive home, it was like, do they not think we're not realizing or catching what they're saying, or how they're purposely putting words where they don't belong and obfuscating and giving different meanings? I mean, do they not think that a child would understand this, what the trick that they're up to? I mean, it was so... No wonder John said the following: he was embarrassed for them. It was pitiful. If this is supposed to be their top debater or whatever, or one of them who's always on shows, always saying I'm right, and this is a joke.
I don't think we were ever supposed to get this far. I think we were supposed to remain permanently in a state of listening to them declaring the angles that they measured off a flat plane and then having us argue about whether or not they work on a sphere model. That was the idea. So to reach the point where we're saying, hang on, all of your claim to be proofs are utilising angle measurements that you can only get from a plane, that's a pretty deep, in-depth part of the discussion. And it's taken, Neil, it's taken 7 years to get there. So, you know, I would have expected it to have phased out by now if it was let into the public consciousness, just to keep it there for the sake of ridicule, for the sake of argument. If that was the case, it was let out into the public domain in the manner that it was back in 2014. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it should have fizzled out and we shouldn't be where we are.
Well, you know what? Someone's got background noise.
Yeah, Neil.
No.
Trying to get a word in.
While I'm in the middle of talking, you want to open your mic, ruin everything everyone else is saying because you want to get one or two words in.
When
Thanks.
you stopped, I opened it. When you started, I shut it. But you know what? I'm going to shut it. Go ahead, continue.
Well, just get you a couple of words in now. Don't be like a spoiled brat.
You just ruined my joke. Tent said he was their top debater, and I was going to say no. He's the master debater.
Oh, so grateful that you interrupted that deep, meaningful contemplation on the last 7 years of debate. Thank you, Neil.
Well, I don't know where to go from that one, but
How was it good?
What if he's not your top debater? What if you just won't listen? What if you guys just don't listen? That's the problem. You know, maybe that's it. You guys just don't listen.
Drew him out. I drew him out. You don't
wait a minute,
listen.
who doesn't listen? Who's just talking?
Globers. No matter what is put in front of you, you won't listen. Like
Globers.
many people see the sky is blue and there's no rain, but yet a person says it's raining. Maybe that's the problem. No matter what's put in front of you and it's obvious, you won't listen. So if you're wearing blue shoes and it's obvious blue shoes, you guys say it's red. Doesn't matter what's put in front of you, you're still going to say it's the opposite.
Say you, do you mean us, as in specifically me when you say you?
Thank you, Nathan.
I mean, it's obvious it's a horizontal plane, flat meaning flat, but you get the result, but you're still going to see it's a globe. And how to get the result is a horizontal plane, flat, horizon means that exactly that. And to get that, you have a flat plane, but no, you're still going to deny it. No matter what. So
When you say you, hang on. When you say you, oh gosh, someone stop them.
We're trying to get a conversation out of the guy. Can you back off your mic a couple of inches? You're just overloading your mic a little bit. It just sounds a bit rough, Constantine.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused. I think he's a flat earther. Are you a flat earther, Constantine?
yes, I am.
Yeah, that's where the confusion lies. We were all geared up for a debate about you, with you being a baller, which is the impression you gave off initially.
It's flat plane, actually. It's not flat earth, it's flat plane.
No, I totally agree. Flat earth is a bad term.
It's kind of funny because you're all on a flat surface, denying the obvious. So,
Constantine.
He's from another server.
Constantine, hello. When you said you were referencing us, but you were talking about ballers. That's why we were confused.
No, I was talking to him. He kept on thinking it was a flat, a globe, and I don't know what he was talking about.
Who's him? Who's
It was
him?
the way he was talking. It was the way Neil was talking. It's all good.
Fine, but who is him, Constantine, when you're referring to him?
Oh, you thought I was a Glober? That's nice.
Would someone stop interrupting? Who's him?
Yeah, Neil, you're a Glober.
The way Neil was talking, I think he thought he was a Glober, so he jumped in with you.
Yeah, Neil, he was talking to you. Bloody Globers.
Picking a fight with me, Constantine? Well, I'm Costantino.
That's funny. I like that.
Okay. Can I
Gotta have humor.
continue?
Hold on, he's trying to reply. Alrighty then.
Can I put up a slide and discuss a matter, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
It must be.
Yeah, just give me a second. I have it right here.
I would like to say I understand the guy's frustration, though.
Okay, I've got your slide up.
Yeah. All right, so you can see here the short man and the tall man. The short man's horizontal and the tall man's horizontal. If the short man in this diagram or picture represents a person using a bubble sextant, he's still getting an elevation angle using the bubble as the artificial horizon. You're not getting the vertical when you're using the bubble sextant. You're getting an elevation angle at your eye line with the bubble. The bubble is setting a level, and you're using the level to get the vertical. So you're going off the level of the bubble, and you're getting a horizontal angle and elevation angle, excuse me. So you sight the sun or star with the bubble sextant, using the bubble as the horizontal rather than the sea horizon after dip correction and all that we understand. And then you still have to subtract from 90. So whether that baseline that can't be bent is the actual Earth, the sea horizon with the horizon mirror and dip correction so that you get your right angle, or the bubble sextant that gets it as an artificial baseline at your eye line, which gives you your right angle. You still have to minus that from 90 to get your co-altitude. That's it.
Cool. Thank you, Tenth.
Yeah, I say that because they keep saying, I just need vertical. I just need vertical. I just like a broken toy. I just need vertical. Well, duh. And what's vertical perpendicular to?
Horizontal?
Yeah, and you need them on both methods, bubble or regular. It's perpendicular relationship, 90 right angle.
Comment I posted from my comment section yesterday. It's a little bit small to read. I'll have to go and get it up on the iPad. It's too small on both screens. Hold on. Let's have a look. So this dude says, at us so far, so the commenter's called Eve88 or AVE88. What argument, question mark? The stupid gibberish about angles and curved adjacent and flat plane, question mark? It's been debunked. Check Ruhif's videos. You don't need a flat Earth to get a flat plane for a sextant measurement. His argument is gaining traction, etc., etc. Right, so just read the most important bit again. You don't need a flat Earth to get a flat plane for a sextant measurement. Okay, that's where they're at.
Yeah, it's ball game over. Game, set, and match here.
My response was something like, shouldn't you be trying to measure a curved plane that you're trying to prove? I.e., a sphere Earth, as opposed to justify how you can be getting a flat plane just without a flat plane. That sort of statement is so riddled with cognitive dissonance, it's untrue. It's great, isn't it? Don't need a flat Earth to get a flat plane. You can just get a flat plane to get a flat plane. Well, what about your sphere Earth? I'm getting a flat plane, okay? What's your problem? Well, that's the bit we're arguing for. Why are you arguing for how easy it is to get a flat plane? Shouldn't you be arguing for it being a curved Earth? But that's where they're at, telling us how easy it is for them to get a flat surface off a sphere that intrinsically has no flat surfaces at all.
That's the funny. I mean, it's so... You can't help but say it's entertaining on the one side of the argument and devastating from the other side of the argument.
Yeah, keep begging us for a flat plane. It's really amusing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like, well, yeah, you need a flat plane for that. Yeah, you need a flat
But they don't see it. They don't see it. Look at Zanuck. He's so easily confessed. Well, yeah.
He's playing around, Neil. He's playing around. He's not here because he's saying, oh, I get it.
I don't know.
Oh, what do you mean, oh, no? I've heard Zanuck for years. This guy, you can figure him out. He's not here for truth. He's here to confuse. He's an agent of some kind. Self-employed, paid by someone, who cares? It don't matter. He's here to just obfuscate and confuse people.
I don't think he's an agent. I told you his uncle is part of NASA.
That's not what he's saying. When he said agent, that's not what he means. Agent for the globe. He is, undoubtedly. You can't deny that. Now he's saying whether or not he's a self-employed agent or an agent that's employed by a government, it's not relevant, right? He's here shilling for the globe, if you want to rephrase it.
Aren't they all? Everyone's shilling for the globe, so what's that mean?
Well, just down to how effective a shill you are, really, doesn't it, at that point? But that wasn't really Tent's point, I don't think. Just used the word agent to describe his motivations to shill for the globe, I believe. I'm just speaking on his behalf now. Sorry, Neil. Sorry, Tenth.
No, you're right. That's what I meant. He's either entrepreneurial in his effort, and he is a one-man globe defender, and he is his own boss, but he's acting as an agent. Nathan, I'll put another slide of Master B to finish off the point of horizontal angle and vertical.
Okay.
All right, so here's a protractor with a straw acting as the telescope and a weighted string for your vertical. There are no mirrors here. There's no horizon mirror. So this is another way of getting an angle. So this one you are using a plumb bob. The other ones do not have plumb bobs. This one is a plumb bob sextant, so to speak, because you've got a homemade protractor with a straw acting as the telescope. And so this does establish your vertical and give you your angle. So it depends how they want to say plumb bob and what they want to use it with, but it still doesn't negate perpendicular relationship with horizontal and the right angle and 90. It all must go back to that. Hope that's clear.
Don't mention 90.
I'll mention it 90 times if I like. I love that word.
Epic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What else we got in Discord? Anyone else new? No.
Well, they're boxed in. You saw that slide, right? With the box and how they get the qualtitude and the altitude.
Yeah, you're not going to get that unless you're minusing from 90. So, having this relationship between horizontal and vertical and their denial thereof because the ground's curving away, it's pathetic. It's using planar trig. It's pretty simple stuff. They just have to deny the very process and claim it's ours and wrong.
And you remember when I said once you show the lie, then there'll be 10,000 different ways of destroying it. And Brian came up with the diverging zeniths. Kudos to Brian, because it can't work. The box can't have diverging zeniths.
Yep, it's just done with length, breadth, and depth, and there's no account for curvature. It's done on a plane. That's how it's done. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. That's how it's done.
This is perfect for Neil Euclidean time.
It's the only one I got, right, Tent?
That's the only one you've got. It's not
The only
you.
one you've got.
You've got. Well, the best I say for last, so in due time.
I want to know what it is. You're getting me very, very impatient, Tent.
I'm laying the crumbs so that everyone is anticipating something like, what does he have and how big is it that he just says it's, and then if I unveil it and it happens to be small and tiny in relationship to how I built it up, everyone's gonna be pissed off at me, right? So,
I mean, how bad can you kill him?
no, so it's bigger than whatever you can think. Let's put it that way.
Bit of a sheepish start today from yous.
Oh, very good pun there. I like that. I'm glad you waited till the end to ram it in.
Oh, nobody got my foul joke the other day.
It flew over our head.
We were all too chicken to admit it.
It was so excellent. We didn't want to mention your name next to
I yoked them with that.
it. Well, they left here scrambled.
Hey, that's my word. I've been saying that for the longest. They're scrambling and scrambling and scrambling.
How can you say that's my only one and then say that's my word?
I'm my only good, like, at the time saying, like, are you kidding me?
Going to be a really slow show today.
Why do you say that? I just woke up.
No, just the mood, general.
He's reading the room.
Is this another newbie?
He's feeling exhausted.
Exhausted.
That was great. That was great.
One sec. Point to point. Hello. Are you new? Again, I don't know if you might have been here before. I just don't recognise your name. Point to point. Hello.
Hello.
Who said exhausted?
Well done, Ted.
sorry.
Hello. Good to have you. Are you new, or am I just paying more attention since Righteous Force hasn't been around?
No, I'm not new.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shows how much attention I've been paying.
Well, welcome. Good to know you. Who said exhausted? I want to give him a thumbs up.
Truth Seeker.
Nice. Well, I was able to converse with a few people about flat Earth and globe Earth while I was in Idaho. I'm sure we're going to talk again when I get back. I was at a event and the host is a flat earther and he had a coaster. He had a coaster with the flat Earth on it. He brought it as we were drinking before the food came out. He put it right in front of me and this guy, go ahead, talk to this guy about it because he knows I'm one. So I said, well, isn't that a clue? And the guy looks, he says, oh, are you a flat earther too? And I go, we all are. That's what we live on. And then I went right into the top 3 housekeeping questions. And he was like, there's no answer. He had to agree with our understanding of those 3 housekeeping questions. And I say, look, if I'm wrong, tell me, but what's the only answer here? He says, no, I can't get around what you're asking. I don't observe that we're spinning, but they tell us we're spinning. I said, right. So if no one told you were spinning, would you ever think you were spinning? He says, no. I said, so why do you think you're spinning? And if you were spinning, wouldn't there be tall tale signs of that fact somehow to know that you were spinning or on the surface that was spinning? Wouldn't there be a way to figure that out? Well, yeah, there should be. Okay.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. But it looks like I'm having live stream issues, so hopefully we can get this conversation going and I can check that the live stream is actually going out, as it looks like it's got a few stream issues. Welcome, one and all.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. If you're in the live stream chat right this second, if you can just tell me if you're actually getting a stream, because my preview stream says it's not. It shows that I'm live, just says waiting for Nathan Oakley. Weird. Okay, well, there we go. Let's just refresh that page and see if it works. First time I've had a stream issue in about 500 shows. I'll go and check on the iPad. No, it works, it works. Brilliant, we're all clear. Everything's working. Happy days. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
No, if there was, we wouldn't have this show. No such thing. And you need art for that. They don't have that either.
Hey, John.
That's correct, Tim.
Hey, how you doing?
Very well. We're working. Everything's streaming and functioning. I'm happy. Everyone's good. Yeah, fine, Nathan, says Michael Kahn. Brilliant. Thank you very much for letting me know. Not often.
No, hang on. Not everyone's good. All the Globers are upset that we don't have a geometric horizon.
What, to do corrections when they assume tangency? Any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle from a curved baseline?
Go, John. Tell us about your kitchen.
Well, if you measure the angle from the floor, you can. Sorry, my wife's got me giggling. You can calculate it as a sphere if you take and assume the arc of the protractor is actually the shape of the ground you're standing on.
And if we were standing on the ground that was in the shape of an arc of a protractor, we would see Earth curvature, would we not?
Where's Nathan?
No, we wouldn't be able to use a protractor.
Hey, Alvin.
Like, hello.
Hello.
You're drunk. Where's the intro?
Where's the intro? Once I start the intro, I glance out the corner of my eye at my preview stream screen.
Where it is right now. Where it is.
Hey, Andy.
What is
I didn't
happening
see
with
the
it
intro on YouTube
right now?
But YouTube's been acting weird though.
Hold on. Andy, are you
How
hot?
it is examined in academia and how important it is amongst people who matter.
Are you hot micing or talking to us?
Yeah, who are you talking
I think-
to? What?
Hey, Andy.
I think he might be hot micing, but this is what he said he wants to come on and talk to you about. Are you there, Artie? Can you hear us?
Oh, he's checking his fence. He's checking with his helper in the background that he's all ready to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Hey, Andy. Shit, press buttons. He's dropped.
He's checking with his teleprompter guy.
Hold on, I've got to move him.
Well,
from
no,
live.
he said he was checking his mic or something like that. I don't know what was going on.
Oh, I'm trying to move him and someone else is trying to move him. Just let me move him into the live stream. Hold on 1 second.
Didn't sound like a mic test.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Andy.
Artie.
Ardy. My bad. It's a 4K screen. It's teeny tiny. I'm always getting mispronunciations. Hello. Good to have you. It's good to be here. Oh, well, that's good to know, Ardy.
Complete bullshit.
What? They just welcomed you.
So what can we do for you?
I think I'm going to just jump out because this is not fun and it's not constructive.
You having,
So,
te-
I'm gonna say
you having
goodbye.
tech issues? Have you got technical issues, Ardy?
Who is talking to me?
I am.
Yeah, Artie, you there?
He's having technical issues because I think he's talking to a third party that we're not privy to. There's possibly someone in the background now going, they can hear it.
I've got to jump out of this, guys. I'd love to have a good discussion with you about what's going on, but I think
What's
the
going
network
on?
issue is killing us.
Have you tried
So
turning
we
it
have
off
to
and on
say,
again?
Not until another time. Thank you.
Okay, he's got technical issues by the looks of things. It's going to be one of those
Have
days.
Have
I
you
guess
tried
we-
turning it off and on again?
Thank you, Arwin. We heard the first time.
I guess we just missed out on the Artie conversation.
I don't know. It's been like this since I started recording today. I don't know why. There's been a funny vibe today. So, audience, if you're picking up on that funny vibe, you're not alone. I don't really understand what's going on today. Anyway, let's move on with housekeeping.
I had
The
massive
hippos
issues
are
with my
hungry.
Just saying, I had massive issues with YouTube on my show today too. So it's acting out.
No,
weird.
I don't think we've got any YouTube issues. I think that was just a coincidence. I refreshed my stream screen page. It's a bit of a tongue twister, and it was all fine. So I don't think I've got any YouTube issues. In fact, quite the contrary. I've managed to link up my Uncut and After show to the live show in the same recording, which is brilliant at the moment because often that doesn't happen. But 3 days in a row it has now, so I'm actually delighted with the performance of YouTube. Thumbs up, YouTube, and OBS. You're great, up by me. But the vibe in the room, I'm talking about us.
What
I
about
say
us?
something?
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, what's shaking?
They're getting
Talking
ready
about a vibe in the
to.
room?
They're getting ready to shut everything down. That's why you're having problems.
What problem?
Oh, here we go.
Is nobody listening to me? There are no problems. Despite my...
Yes, there is. We had problems yesterday.
You're the problem,
There's always
Neil.
problems on Discord. They're getting ready to shut everything down. Just be ready.
I love a good
That's
show
not
about
what
YouTube
Nathan's
technical
talking about.
issues. I mean, when this gets re-upped and people come and watch and it's not live, they'll listen to this for 5 straight minutes and then tune out. So let's move on with housekeeping. Hopefully we can pick up the tempo. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
No, you need R for that.
Any evidence of the R value? R value, Earth radius.
The geometric horizon is right there, underneath the apparent one.
Excuse me, how did they get an R value that they keep saying they have? What would they have to do to get it, John?
They would have to measure an angle on a flat plane, on a flat Earth, not just a flat plane, flat Earth.
And Zanuck agreed with that?
Who cares? Sorry, what? Sorry, is that Zanuck the arbiter of these things these days?
No, I'm just saying that they come in here saying we don't know what we're talking about. You asked a great question there. I posed it to John in the secondary question. John answered it correctly. And then the people who come here and say we don't know what we're talking about agree with John's definition. So they're the crazy ones.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
I would just like to say that it's not agree, disagree on that point.
No, it is not.
Per definitions.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, prove I have to use a flat plane when I'm using a flat plane. It's like it's intrinsic, it's inherent, it's necessary, it's required. It's not like it needs proving as a claim. It's part of the method. If you're measuring 2 straight lines, you're measuring 2 straight, that's what you're doing. One of them ain't curved. So what do we end up with? Anti-flat earthers telling us, it's easy to get a flat plane, don't mean Earth's flat. Like, why are you getting a flat plane when you think you're on a sphere? Do you not realise what you're telling us? You're telling us the flat plane I'm using ain't the flat Earth that I'm measuring. It's like, well, you're nuts. You're all bonkers at the moment. It's hysterical.
Here's what they're doing after listening to that show. Yeah, I need to use your flat plane so I could get my sphere. What's wrong with that?
Give us a lend on your flat plane for a bit. Let's just forget about it after, and then you can justify how the flat plane angles that I got from the flat plane Can't work on a bloody flat plane. That's what they're telling us at the moment. It's nuts. It's absolutely insane.
The best is when Zanuck says, no, the sphere comes later.
Yeah, after the flat plane bit, we're going to be measuring the flat Earth, and it's going to be to baselines with GPs on the baselines. That's the ground. After we've done all that, I'm going to use those angles we got from a flat plane to ask you how they work on a flat plane, because obviously they can't. Duh. Yeah, it's insane.
They paint a globe in there afterward for imagination support.
Yeah, and then they take the angle to a celestial plane in the middle of it. Not that you can stand in the middle of a sphere Earth, and even if you could, you'd be standing on a flat plane there, according to them, because you need a flat plane. Don't matter if they teeter-totter it on the top of a sphere or stick it in the middle of a rock. At some point, you're going to be using a flat plane. You can't get an angle any other way. So they justify how easy it is to get a flat plane from a shape that's inherently supposed to be justified as being curved and intrinsically has no flat planes at all, ever. But you want to tell us how easy it is to get one of those flat planes and borrow them from us to get angle measurements on the surface from? Yeah, that just means you're measuring angles on the surface from a flat plane. That's all it means. Earth is flat.
Yeah, how do you even use a sextant when you're in the middle of a ball Earth?
You don't. You use it on the surface, and that surface you're measuring would be flat. Can't not be. That's John's point, right, John?
Yes, it's not an agree, disagree discussion. It's like if you hold up a rock and say it's a rock, you don't agree, disagree to that. It's just what it is.
Yeah. And an angle measurement from a flat baseline is just that. It's an angle measurement from a flat baseline. That's what you're doing if you're measuring an elevation angle. Not, well, I don't think you're measuring it off the surface. No, you're measuring an angle off the surface. It's called your baseline. That's what you're getting your GP along. It's the surface that you're navigating. It's just navigated flat, measured flat, utilised flat, obviously and observably flat. But what's that you say? The baseline that we're measuring, navigating, using, and is obviously flat, isn't the surface. Yeah, open parentheses, globe surface. No, it isn't your open brackets globe surface now, is it? It's the flat Earth we actually walk and dwell atop.
Do you remember that navigation article that magazine had, and I put it up, where the guy shows a triangle, and he says, this is a little different triangle. It's got a bulgy bottom.
Yeah, it was absolutely filthy. Those dirty magazines. I love them. I'll give them you back next week. That went over everybody's head, didn't it? I love it.
I got it.
Did not, but it's disgusting.
It is. 10th has got a filthy, disgusting habit. But we won't talk about that live.
to show a triangle with a bulgy bottom after drawing an actual triangle over a curved part of their curved world that doesn't exist, and then saying, yeah, this is how it works with this triangle, but the one we use has a bulgy bottom. Right there, you should say, mate, what kind of triangle has a bulgy bottom?
Why do you keep saying that? You giving him ammunition.
No, he did reference it that time to Earth intentionally. He's not stupid.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
No, he definitely tied it to something I couldn't pun over. Any scientific evidence of gravity? Oh, as Simon Dan's on the screen, the evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety. Whose reference frames did I ruin?
What's gravity?
No, axial rotation, just because Simon Dan's on there with his ruined reference frames.
Because I notice in chat when you replay your shows, a lot of people are in the chat talking about gravity.
Nobody ever claimed there would be Coriolis deviation.
You say there's no issue with YouTube. It says there's only 30 people watching. Either I've been, in the last 24 hours, completely cobbled. Is that what you call it? Like in Misery, when she puts the block between his feet? Is it cobbling? Either
I'm afraid I'm going to have to hobble you.
Hobble, that's the one. Either I've been hobbled, or there's actually 29 people watching, and everyone in the last 24 hours has decided, screw Nathan Oakley, we ain't watching no more. What was that? He had 200 people watching the other day? We ain't coming back.
hang on. Paula just posted. Most of the U.S. cannot see the show right now. I've tried several browsers, refreshed, etc. So we're having problems.
Oh, really?
I just got a glimpse. There's 80 watching, but every time I try to refresh, suddenly it says offline. I don't know why.
So there are
They're getting
YouTube
ready
issues.
to do it.
Okay. Well, it says there's 28 people watching on my preview. You're getting 80. Paula can't watch at all. Wonderful. I wondered why Paula was in the Discord service, because none of them got a ram jammer ding dong Discord server because they're all listening because they can't tune in the States. Maybe we've been banned in the States. It's censorship, lads. It's censorship. Come on, conspiratards. Back me up.
Nathan, I mean, Neil just did. He said they're ready to shut us down.
Exactly.
They're
You
shutting
don't
us down,
realize
man.
What's going to happen?
Don't be
All
silly.
right. Laugh about it, but you better have an alternate route, because I'm not going out to Flat Earth debate.
After
Like, they're a little
yesterday's
late.
embarrassment.
Yeah, I just checked it. It's live right now. I'm watching it now.
You're in the States, right?
83
Truth Seeker?
watching.
I mean, to be fair, Paula does use Linux. So there's always that.
Causing problems though. There's runtime environments that bridge the gaps.
What? Does anybody speak dweeb?
So when you use Linux, all right, and you want to use something that's running off of a Windows, there's a program. It's like an environment that will buffer everything so that you can watch what you want that's streaming from Windows on your Linux.
Listen to this guy. He's building his own computer.
I was going to say,
a lot.
thank you very much, Linus Tech Tips.
You're welcome.
So, any scientific evidence of gravity? Dizzying heights of 34 people watching, according to my numbers.
I mean, that invisible force, not force, bending of space-time effect, whatever they want to keep calling it because they don't have it to begin with, that thing?
Well, when the high priest drops his mic and says, this is gravity, and then another time he says, I don't know, next question. What do you go with that?
I call that slippery fingers.
PhD Clown Thunderfoot said gas go down, go boom boom like solid bonded bouncy balls. That's science, right? It's PhD Thunderfoot.
Another meatball. Well, I knew they were going to take the... Go ahead.
He didn't finish his statement when he said that solids go down or gases go down on a sphere in a heliocentric belief structure. Is what he should have finished it with. But
I see. In his reified sphere model that is in no way reality or doesn't comport with any natural law, the gas goes down like solid bonded bouncy balls. You have like pools of gas and stuff in his model, in his fantasy world. Right, he should have just disclaimed that he isn't talking about reality when he says gas go down, go boom boom like bouncy balls. It doesn't. But it does in his model.
That's it. See, if he should have added that part, and it would have made a lot more sense.
Well, it wouldn't make any sense, but it just means that's what happens in the sphere model. It doesn't mean it makes sense, let's be honest. I mean, I'm being pedantic. Let's get on with it. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? Says there's 36 people watching. I can count more than that in chat.
No
Is that
evidence.
the
No.
answer to that question? 36 people watching.
I'm just watching the chat whiz on by at a hell of a rate with loads of people in there. Like, it's not like it's a quiet day in the chat. It isn't. But, yeah, it's saying, hey, you've got 40 people watching. I'm like, normally about this point, I'd be going, come on, get to 100 so I can shout them out and thank them for sharing. 41 now. Way, 41 people. Yeah, it's definitely something wrong.
I'm still waiting for Dr. Becky's response, and Neil is waiting for Neil deGrasse Tyson's response to that question. But no, the answer is no. No valid hypothesis, just observations.
Anthony's Sleeping Warrior says there's 4 people watching at my end. And then immediately afterwards, Steve says 105 people watching at my end. Okay, there's definitely a problem. Okay, I'm going to take it all back. Yeah, there's definitely an issue today. 105 people watching according to Steve. So thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. There's only 105 people watching according to Steve because you all share the show.
All right, I guess I'm going to go with the flow. There's 126 people who say there's no hypothesis for that question.
I don't know where you're getting your numbers from.
I'm making them up like everybody else. I'm trying to answer housekeeping questions. And all I hear
How dare you accuse Steve of making up those numbers? I'll have you know, as those were the best numbers I had on offer, that those are definitely accurate.
No, actually, it just ticked up more. 254 at the moment.
No, I know you're just making those up, though.
Numbers,
I can tell by your tone.
Numbers.
You're not a good liar. You're not trained that way, 10th.
Give me your money. I got the best numbers. Come on.
The best numbers ever. The greatest numbers, man. Good morning, guys.
Right. Any evidence
Good morning, chocolate.
Self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Well, there's 124 people now who say no.
You know who can prove that? The same person that went to their equatorial plane to take their elevation angles.
The journey to the centre of the sphere Earth. No, nobody's done that.
Yeah, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Check out the core, see how nice it is, how it's layered, and then take the elevation angles from their equatorial plane in the middle of a rock. Nothing to see here.
I heard there was a dead end about 8 miles down, though. There was a rerouting of the course.
You talk about kind of.
Bro, well, just imagine the rest of the thousands of miles. Don't worry about it. We got the best numbers.
Yeah, we've only gone down about 12 kilometres. That's about as far as we got before the drill bits stopped working, and yeah, they couldn't go any further. Then they sealed it off with a little plate, about, I don't know, 8, maybe 10 inches in diameter. And that's it. It's got a bit of graffiti on it, and now it's just called the Hole to Hell because it's 12K down.
We have an update from Paula. It just started running for me for no apparent reason.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I've lost my track of housekeeping. Anybody been keeping up with which ones we've covered?
Yeah.
More than
No, we just had that.
You didn't do
gas pressure?
Any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
336 people say no.
That's a negative, but now that people are saying that things are different up there, God could do anything. So, they're trying to get around the fact by saying natural law is man-made.
No.
God does it.
Let's get this straight. Because they want scientism to creep into the Bible, they have to say those things. Okay, a violation of natural law, God can do, and that's our falling under the category of miracles, walking on water, raising the dead, as Jesus did. But when you say the way he made this place for us to live, we have natural laws, unless a miracle does happen, but then God does it. So when they want to say, yeah, but what's the difference if the earth is flat or a sphere? And then you tell them, well, this Word of God says this, and here's what we observe, and here's what we experience. And they're lying to us. And it says, well, couldn't God make it that way? Well, yeah, God could have, but did he? No. It's a poor excuse.
Looks like
it's funny because that's what my son comes back with all the time. And I say, yes, son, but that's not how the Bible says he did it.
Hold on. If it doesn't matter if it's flat or a sphere to them, why don't they just accept the fact that it's measured flat?
They do. They tell us.
Because it's a religion.
No, they don't. They don't just say they do, because they don't. They tell us you don't have to have a flat plane to measure a flat plane. That's the kind of level of cognitive dissonance they've sunk to. So it's a pertinent question that John's asking. I don't mean to be rude when you hand wave it away, John. 10th. Do you want to ask the question again? Everyone listen up in Discord.
If it doesn't matter if it's flat or a sphere, right? If it doesn't change anything, then why not just accept the measurement?
Because they're not all of that same ilk, if I could use that word.
It's religion, sphere religion. They
Yeah,
want
just-
sphere.
Was it religion, peer pressure, social pressure?
That's crap. I lost my thought. Damn it.
Have you tried turning it off and on again? Are you trying?
Thanks. That might have...
That was good.
That's a good one.
That was good.
Okay, because there's a few people that have only just joined, we're going to do quick fire housekeeping. Let's go. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon formerly known as the curve of the
No.
Earth? Not that quick, Neil, not that quick. Let's just try it again. Still needs to be audibly nice. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
If there was, then at 1 foot observation height, you would have a geometric horizon at 1.22 miles away. We don't have that. We don't see that. So therefore, that's debunked.
So no geometric horizon for measurements of straight lines and angles and such. Okay. Any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle from a curved baseline?
This is impossible.
It's a geometric misnomer. It's a nonsensical statement, correct. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Well, if it was of the Earth-based variety, we would have Earth-based Coriolis as evidence for the axial rotation. And since we do not have Earth-based Coriolis, no, that's not happening either.
And to just add a little bit more cream to that cake, if the Earth was turning underneath stuff to cause Coriolis deflection as claimed on a globe Earth, then a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina would only take an hour and a half rather than 4.5, maybe 5 hours, as it actually does, because to see Coriolis effect, you'd be turning underneath the aeroplane. Therefore, Earth would be turning under the aeroplane, shortening its flight time, and it does not. Any evidence of the distance to the Sun?
No, it's light in the sky, and as Arwen says, it's over there.
3 AUs.
Make that on a quick fire? No, let's not. I won't. I'll edit it out if this becomes a short, concise housekeeping, Arwen. Thank you anyway for your Arwinian
Just saying
unit.
3 AU. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
You just want your name mentioned.
Apparent distances, no actual distances, no Euclidean space-based position.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Well,
Of
for that, we would need to observe a phenomenon of gravity first. We haven't done that.
Of course, there's scientific evidence. We're still in the middle of trying to figure out what it is.
As far as what it is, no.
I can tell you what it is.
Come.
It's an inaccurate description of a phenomenon no one ever observed because the Earth is flat.
You want to read out your... is this Arwen presenting this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm never gonna let this one go. No harm meant to Professor Philbill, but I love that he actually said this in my chat. Right? That is why Newton is so useful. Both are just models. Neither of them are real. We don't know what gravity actually is.
Priceless.
Neither of them are real.
No.
Did you say that?
Yeah, with capital letters.
He's got some crackers. Well, Nathan says we just beg the question of a sphere. Well, yes.
Well, yes. That was greatest.
Where are we? Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
It's going to be kind of tough since both are just models, Newtonian and Einstein gravity, right? But the heliocentric system and outer space universe rests on the assumption that they are real, or at least the Newtonian one. So it's kind of problematic. If they don't know what gravity actually is, then how could you ever get to the point of claiming a valid scientific hypothesis for anything relating to things that are purely dependent on that which you don't know what it is?
It doesn't have to be gravity. Any viable hypothesis.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the entire cosmos, assumed to be by the astronomy department, is based on Newtonian gravity, even though it's just a model. They don't know what gravity is.
Yeah, I've just picked on what you're doing. Yeah, so you're taking up the slack where John would normally say, well, any hypothesis that's offered from those fields would automatically require an assumption of an R value to be within the framework of a heliocentric model. So I suppose that leads us on nicely to any evidence of the R value, Earth radius.
Indeed, and it also requires little g. That's what the heliocentric cosmos requires.
Can you go back a second? Can you explain why you've got the word viable in that question? For those who might not understand what we're asking when we ask that question.
Well, an actual cause and effect relationship, viable meaning that you have actually got an observed phenomena that you've observed in nature, and you are proposing a presumed cause of the effect you've observed in nature. Viable meaning that you've got an independent variable, your presumed cause of the effect, and most importantly, when it comes to gravity at least, an actual effect to observe, to presume the cause of, and then formulated in if A then B, that's if presumed cause then dependent variable observed effect, and if A not B, if varying my cause I don't get the effect I'm trying to study. So that's a formulated viable hypothesis. So you just want two things really, because we can do the rest if they didn't even do that bit, which is independent variable and dependent variable. Presumed cause, observed effect. Simple.
Well, the null kills them because they're not going to vary Earth turn.
So if you don't have any of these parts and you don't have a viable hypothesis, but you're still claiming science, what do they call that again?
Pseudoscience. If you've got a methodology that's claiming to be science and yet it doesn't have an application of the scientific method, it automatically, by definition, is pseudoscience. Shout out to Bex for the super chat. Thank you very much. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon.
How many containers am I allowed to use to demonstrate this?
None.
Nope, no demonstration then.
But we are unable to escape the container that we are in order to demonstrate that.
That's not my problem. The fact that we have gas pressure in existence, that's a problem for someone trying to prove that there's a sky vacuum with gas not dispersing into it, but not for me. I just breathe the gas pressure and go, yummy gas pressure. Well, that concludes the housekeeping. I'm glad we did it again because, according to my numbers, we have actually got 100 people watching now, which is excellent. So in all seriousness, to all the 100 people who are watching, you're probably only watching because you clicked on a shared link by someone else who'd shared the show. Because chances are you haven't picked it up from a YouTube algorithm or anything that's promotional in that particular method. So, yeah, thank you very much to all of you who shared the show. If you've just joined, thank you very much for joining. Please share the show. And then hopefully we'll get a few more than 100 watching. Also, shout out to Godzilla37 for hitting the super chat. He says, Chocolate, you're smart. Oh, hold on. Let's just let Brian in. Chocolate, you're smart. What's the difference between flat earth math and globe maths? Or should I ask McToon? Thank you very much for the super chat. Godzilla37. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Nathan, have one.
Hey.
I would say that globe earth math, where does that start at?
Starts with a flat plane.
Oh, well, there you go.
If you guys could just... Oh, sorry, Arwen. I was just going to say, if you guys could just get past the flat plane, I can explain to you how it's a globe after that.
And further to that, Anna can explain how, if you can just get past the flat plane angle measurements that we're going to be using in all instances, if you can all get past that in the audience, flat earthers or globers, right? Forget that flat plane bit. Once we've got that bit, I can show you how it doesn't work on a flat plane. That's what I can do.
Yep, I can utilize the flat plane to demonstrate that it's not a flat plane.
It's amazing. I'm up
Hey,
to,
Nathan.
I think it's 48 times I've told McToon, directly to McToon, in the comments, that he requires a flat plane for his challenge. I've laid it out in terms of the reasons why, with the elevation angle acquisition being only capable from a flat plane, and the elevation angle acquisition not being capable from a sphere Earth. Now, he's appealed to Euclid in a certain way to try and get a tangent, you sneaky old dog you, but I kid you not, 48 times I've told him so far. When it was cats, with gas pressure without a container, I got beyond 100 in the same scenario, with him just lurking around the comments, not coming into a live show that's got an open door.
Do you think it's the logical steps that are from utilizing the sextant, like where you're not just dealing with the ground immediately? You know, you're taking a measurement and then correlating it to the ground. Do you think that logical step is too much for them to understand what they're actually doing?
I don't think half of them know what celestial navigation even is. They just know what the bastardized version they're told is flat earthers claiming this is how you get around and stuff on a flat earth that's obviously not capable because it's all taken from a sphere. Shh, that was taken from a flat earth in the first place. But they're being told by the people around them. They're not going out and doing what 10th Man is. I'm so arrogant. I am only able to say this because 10th Man has literally presented this stuff to me. So, in my smug arrogance, if it wasn't for 10th and a lot of people around me, I'd be as ignorant as they are. But there we go.
Well, 10th he done a presentation every pre-show for almost a year and educated everybody that bothered to watch on this.
Well, most of the time it was directed to me, though, wasn't it? I was the conduit. I appreciate that I'm producing a show, and that's obviously for consumption. But in terms of being that conduit, I feel blessed. You know, I've had that information fed to me. Not only fed to me, sieved out. You know, here's a good bit, here's another good bit. This is how this is relevant. And the context, all offered to me. To me directly. I know it's, like I say, as a conduit. But, you know, it's a very privileged position I find myself in. I can't deny it. In a way, I'm bigging you guys up and saying how grateful I am, because I'd just be thick as shit if it wasn't for you lot.
He not only did that, he broke it down for us too. Excellent job.
Exactly.
I remember them pre-shows. Outstanding.
Exactly. You can go back through 2021, basically. You know, tail end of the lockdowns for us here in the UK. That year, if you go and listen to any Uncut and After show on my second channel, which is Nathan Oakley channel, links below if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, check out any of those pre-shows, because immediately, and I do mean within 5 minutes of the intro, or the 5 minutes of the start of the show even, 10th is going, I've just got these slides, can I just show you my pictures that I've taken from this book, etc., etc. And typically he'd do it on, I don't want to say spur of the moment because he's read it and obviously considered it. Sorry to talk on your behalf, I know he's sat right there, 10th. But he's gone through it in a manner that's obviously been processed enough to disseminate it to us with a bit of back and forth, with a few questions here and there, but not necessarily a presentation. So each time it's always kind of prefaced with, I don't necessarily want to do this as a presentation at this stage, but here it is for the dedicated people who watch the Uncut and After show on my second channel. You know, that is a far more focused audience. So subscribe today. But yeah, check out any of those shows from that particular year, and you'll see the progression that we took in terms of the information being disseminated to us by 10th Man. And as I say, to pick him up once more, you know, I feel very privileged to have sat in this seat and had that disseminated to me for the benefit of my audience. So yeah, big up to you, 10th.
It was so good that I remember when Eli came one day, he said, when can we get this on the show?
Yeah, the pre-shows too, like the stuff we talked about, like, because somebody was always playing devil's advocate, they're giving those responses that are nonsensical now. Have you noticed that? Like trying to grab onto the zenith.
Exactly. It's stuff that we'd gone through. Again, it gets, if you wanted to go back to those shows and have a little listen, you get an impression of how we process this information in that way. In other words, you will hear not necessarily Baldwin, I'm not as overt as that, just us being moderately sceptical, or how would this get approached, how would that get approached. You know, we're not nagging 10th, you know, we're still grateful in those shows, but you know what I'm driving at. We're trying to offer up our scepticism in terms of how it might be defeated while we're getting to grips with it. And 10th, in his tolerant ways, you know, obviously just disseminating the information to us as he gets it. Yeah, great shows, great days, happy days. But yeah, by contrast, we'll get some grunt from the anti-Flat Earth side that's just listened to somebody in their little sphere tell them how they say it works and how they claim we say it works, when in reality they want to fight against the process of celestial navigation, or claim that flat Earth elevation angle measurements off a flat baseline as they are done aren't how they're done, or aren't the ground. It's like, yeah, they are. That's what you're doing. You're navigating the ground. Well, it's not our sphere ground. Go on, Neil.
Oh yeah, 10, a new addition to the silly things that Glovers have told me. Curve told me if I wanted to take up Wolfie's challenge, I couldn't use an almanac because that's globe stuff.
Globe-shaped? Or almanac's globe-shaped?
It's globe stuff. I don't know.
Globe stuff. I mean, if they want to make that claim, they need to actually show us how it's globe stuff. You know, they need to actually back their claim. So from this point forward, just saying, you know, we were taking the piss out of it last week going, no, my almanac. No, my map. No, my flat plane. Mine. Right, that's what they're doing. It's nuts, but that's what they're doing. At that point, we're going to start holding them to task. Okay, you say the almanac's globe. Okay, do you want to back that up? Show us how it's globe.
No. The ephemeris, astronomy, where the stars are, as designed not from Earth, but a star map, sky map, so to speak. That's where the almanac comes from. Has nothing to do with the globe. It has to do with the stars in the sky, as astronomers throughout thousands of years have plotted them, seen them the same time the following year to know when it's going to show up again, the circuit they run. This is where they get the nautical almanac from.
I agree. Can I read something that I got from you?
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah, go ahead, Eli. Don't ask permission, just go.
So it says earthly Andrew Hill, quotes, in parentheses, quotes, Darwin rules, okay. 12th July, page 127 says, even in The Spectator, we rarely find serious assertions that the sun goes around the earth. One can, of course, believe anything one likes as long as the consequences of that belief are trivial. But when survival depends on belief, then it matters that belief corresponds to manifest reality. We therefore teach navigators that the stars are fixed to the celestial sphere, which is centered on a fixed earth and around which it rotates in accordance with laws clearly deducible from common sense observation. The sun and moon move across the inner surface of this sphere and hence perforce go around the earth. This means that students of navigation must unlearn a lot of the confused dogma they learned in school. So, in other words, if the almanac is a bunch of data that they put into the celestial sphere, that's around a fixed plane.
Yeah, the equatorial plane. Indeedy. I like
Notice,
the confused dogma. They have to forget about that confused dogma that they learned. I love that. Shout out to Paul Connell, who says, shout out to Arwin. Indeedy. Woo! Shout out to the Flat Earth Early Bird Show. He says, love all the panel and you, Nathan. Oh, well, thank you very much. You all help me through every night in Perth, Australia. Keep up the awesome work. Love, Paul. Well, thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate the support, and thank you very much for the super chat and the kind sentiments. Also, I'll double down on that and say shout out to Flat Earth Early Bird, which is ARWIJN. That's Arwin's show, which goes out before this show. So if you're in Australia, it's not so early. It's sort of late evening just before you go to bed show. But it's called The Early Bird, so check it out. Also, another shout out to Bex. He says, woohoo! Indeedy. Thank you very much for the super chat, Bex.
You got the end of that.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Can you finish reading that, Eli?
No, sorry, that was all I had. If
Okay,
there's
I'll
more, I'd love to have it.
Okay, I'll go look for it because the end was good too.
I assume you haven't got that book to hand to read off the rest of the text.
What was that? What was that part that you read, Eli? What did it say? It doesn't really matter what you believe as long as the consequences are trivial. Is that what it said?
Yeah, one can, of course, believe anything one likes as long as the consequences of that belief are trivial. But when survival depends on belief, then it matters that belief corresponds to manifest reality.
Indeed. Or to translate that for you and I, laymen on the ground, people at sea, people navigating, should you get lost, then it matters greatly that you understand that you are measuring a flat earth to find where the hell you are. Now, if you don't understand that, or you feel that somehow you need to reference a dingleberry earth dangling beneath a flat plane which you don't really want to accept, then you will start measuring angles from curved baselines. And as a result, you will remain lost because you won't be able to triangulate your position as has been done for a very long time. Now, a good understanding of the flat plane that you're about to navigate and triangulate and find your position with, that would be your fix, will mean that you don't die. So it's best not to let your fundy sphere belief get in the way of not dying if you're out at sea lost.
Nathan, I put up a picture in Masterbeat of not my entire collection of books, but a good part of it while I look for the end of that article to answer a previous statement. Everything that I was dripping out on the shows came from these books. All these books are globe-oriented navigation books. There is no flat earth navigation book. This is how much they've cornered the market. But within these globe navigation books is the methodology of celestial navigation. And upon investigation, I was shocked to see that they were using a flat earth to navigate. And I shared it with my wife and my kids. I said, this is ridiculous. This is all flat earth methodology, but in the globe earth navigation book saying you're doing it on the globe, I go, it can't be this easy. It can't be as easy as an angle. It can't be as easy as a triangle. It can't be as easy as a 90 degree, is it? I mean, my goodness, this is huge. So then I decided to say, all right, well, just keep investigating, and called the navigator, emailed another one, just to double check. I mean, really, is this a trap for me to fall in somehow? Because there's something more to it than I'm seeing. I'm just a farmer, right? So the whole point was, no, everything got validated on my end. Then I decided to drip on your show little by little because I role-played somewhat what might happen, not all. The rest has been happening and in real time for me. And I've been responding to the real-time disagreements from the ballers. But the homework I've done and the resources I could go to, I purchased so that it couldn't be taken away from me. I have it. It's there for everyone's use one day. And I bought a sextant, a nice German one, Freiberg. I bought a bubble sextant, an A10. And I even just recently added to the collection with a box sextant, which is small enough to fit in your pocket and used near the shorelines. And so the whole point of the whole thing is that you need a 90 and you need a baseline and you need a right angle triangle. And I have cited all of their people saying that. It's over right there. I'll go look for the rest of the article while you look at some of those books.
So you're saying that you had a Snickers bar, but it's wrapped up in a Mars wrapper, and when you open it up, it's actually a Snickers bar?
So I think Neil's saying that the flat map that you'd use to navigate is the wrapper and the globe earth is the Snickers bar that you think's inside that turns out to be a Mars bar, actually
correct.
A flat earth. That was terrible.
Yes, you got it right.
Yeah, with a lot of thought.
Actually, it wasn't too bad. He was within the Milky Way.
All right, let's have another topic.
That's a good one.
Well, before you change the topic, that's very good because I'm trying to figure out
Wait a
how
second.
to
Topic
break
for
this to
candy
my
bar?
friends ever since since 10th said what he said about the books, and then you saying it's like a candy bar wrapper, but you open it and it's something else. That's perfect. Like I would love to say that to someone. Just like you opening up a candy bar thinking, yeah, I got a Snickers, and it's like a payday or some nasty shit.
Thank you, Eli.
Like you open up a globe, a navigation book for the globe, and it actually has flat Earth in it. What? I didn't pay for this.
With another example of them just telling you, yeah, it doesn't really matter what you believe, right? Because flat and globe, kind of the same thing. It's only about what you believe. But if you weren't using a flat plane to do all this nonsense and come up with this math, well, then you wouldn't say that you were. They wouldn't be equal. It would be two different things. That's the one thing that's always been batshit crazy to me. The globers that will say, well, it doesn't matter if it's a globe or a flat. Like what? What do you mean?
Chocolate, it does matter because there's no ice wall on a globe. There's an ice wall in the flat Earth.
Is there? What says who?
What I'm saying
Hold
is
on.
the parameters.
Ruining Chocolate's point by triggering me.
Here we go.
You're trying to rumpus Chocolate's point by triggering me, Neil. What's going on?
I'm not. I'm just saying. It's on the globe. Just Antarctica's like a continent.
Sorry, Chocolate. Go ahead.
It's a little noisy over here now.
What bloody
done
ice wall?
anyway. I
What are
knew
you
he
talking
was
about?
done.
I had to listen to that crap on QE show yesterday.
Nathan, prove there's not an ice wall, okay?
Yeah.
The ice one.
Okay, I've got that. Hey, Brian, I've got that quote up in Master B now. You got to go to the second one first, I think, because I reversed the order.
One that's got earthly at the top.
Let me move to it. Yeah, so this is the one he was reading. Let's just go in context. Andrew Hill responding to the article in the previous month where the guy's talking about Darwin and everything else, and ends the article by saying, just like we all now know without question, basically, or debate, that the Earth is going around the sun. That's how he ended that article that had mostly nothing to do with that, but that's how he did it. So this guy responds, hey, Andrew Hill, Darwin Rules, okay, July 12, page 127 says, even in The Spectator, we rarely find serious assertions that the sun goes around the Earth. So you see how he just focuses on the one last statement of that previous article. And he says, one can, of course, believe anything one likes as long as the consequences of that belief are trivial. But when survival depends on belief, then it matters that belief corresponds to manifest reality. Excellent usage of words. We therefore teach navigators that the stars are fixed to the celestial sphere, which is centered on a fixed Earth and around which it rotates in accordance with laws clearly deducible from common sense observation. The sun and the moon move across the inner surface of this sphere and hence perforce go around the Earth. Let me read that again. The sun and moon move across the inner surface of this sphere and hence perforce go around the Earth. This means that students, not baltards, students of navigation must unlearn a lot of confused dogma they learned in school. Most of them, next slide please, most of them find this remarkably easy because dogma is as may be, but the real world is as we perceive it to be. If Andrew Hill would look in the Journal of Navigation, something that 10th Man bought, by the way, he will find that the Earth-centered universe is alive and well, whatever his readings of The Spectator may suggest. Darcy Reddyhoff, Royal Air Force College, and must be a teacher because he referred to the people he talks to as students. I rest my case.
Yeah, celestial navigation and the elevation angle measurement taken from the baseline we call the surface proves Earth is flat. Thank you, Tenth.
I don't know
My
if he.
pleasure.
Sorry. Don't know if he realised if any read any of Adam's comments or any Adam has been shown there last night. But according to Ruth, there's a new globe Earth proof. And it's my maths honesty. I just casually was just honest, like I tried to be the other day on the show, and stated that I can't do square roots, or I don't know how to do square roots. I do now, but I didn't a few days ago. And Wolfie showed me how to do square roots, right? So there's someone who showed me. Actually, Wolfie helped me out and said, "This is how you do it." But according to Ruhif, it's a new globe Earth proof. Because if I can't do square roots, that means that everything I ever said and anything that anyone has to do with me has to be wrong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it took the word right out of my mouth.
This is where we're at.
Pretty desperate proof, isn't it?
Yeah, it would have been better if they came on and corrected us on our terrible mathematics on the physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve. Oh, you idiots! Didn't you know how to calculate where the geometric physical sphere edge horizon we used to claim block boats and buildings is? Let me correct you. Yeah, no one walked into that, though. No, I don't. Dude, tell a lie. Where's Wally walked into it in the comments?
Well, that is one instance where knowing how to do square roots would be handy, but we don't need that anymore. So technically, I don't have the same need to know a square root, how to do square roots, as I would have had before 2020.
What you mean, given that there is no physical geometric sphere edge horizon anymore, why would you need the square root of the observer's height and feet to calculate where it is? Is that what you're talking about, Brian?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Brian, rest assured, I'm not that great at math either. I don't know calculus. I don't know algebra. I don't know most of it. I just never understood it, never went that route. My mind doesn't work that way like Adam's does. But guess what? I bought their books, and it says you need a flat earth. I know how to read.
Perfect. On that note, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on a Premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!
Yeah, it's all back to because I was honest before. I said I left school at 15. Technically, I would have left earlier if I was left off. Just legally, I couldn't. So it's technically, it's all back to that. Like, I left school at 15, and how could he ever know anything because he left school at 15? It's like, you know, you could learn things when you're not in school.
Isn't it you that said that the whole basis of attack on us and our arguments, more importantly, is to disseminate it into a personal attack? Wasn't that you, Brian?
Yeah, that's the main thing forever. That's been the main thing against Flat Earthers forever.
Right. So it's just ironic that the person who points that out is now defending the fact that, so what? If I did a faux pas in maths, that means that my arguments are void? No. Do you want to come and challenge the arguments? Oh, you'd rather just attack me on some faux pas that I've made? All right. Well, that's fascinating. That's okay. I don't mind. Water off a duck's back after 7 years. We can just simply repeat the actual winning argument that's being obfuscated with an ad hominem fallacy.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
Excuse me. Just to ask, did he use words to formulate that statement?
Who, Rufy?
Well,
yeah, he did, yeah.
Really, yes.
Oh, that's tough. Being that the definitions of words are fucking meaningless, I mean, how is he saying anything?
Wrong way round. The fucking definitions of words are meaningless, I think was the correct, but verbatim quote.
Yeah, from Rufus, yeah, that's what he said.
Well, that adds up.
Yeah, it definitely checks out.
It's just semantics. Boom, boom. No, nobody's taking it. Fair enough.
No, it was good. I couldn't get to the phone. But it's pretty bad when that's where they're at, isn't it?
Hey, Brian.
After that show, sorry, Ted, you go first.
I was going to ask Brian what the square root value of semantics was.
After that show, Brian, the same night, it was like 3 or 4 days delayed, was the Uncut After Show on the second channel. And while I'm watching it, Adam, who is a skilled, competent mathematician, right? That's what he's all degreed up in. So he is putting forward the elevation angle argument for the use of an equatorial plane and the acquisition of the angle and the derivation from the curved tangent that's being transposed down. He's arguing that point, right? And within, I don't know, it's perfect timing, he's here. Within about 5 minutes of that discussion taking place, with Adam being honest, I've got him over a barrel. And I disclaim, after that has happened, that's not because I'm somehow mathematically competent. I'm not. I'm a total grunt. And I'm the first to admit I'm not good at maths. You know, there's enough faux pas out there that people will quote in that regard. It's not like it's new news. But being a grunt and having a mathematician over a barrel because he's trying to defend a globe position should speak volumes, right? My point being that who cares? Like you've just disclaimed or did disclaim on the live show, Brian, you've never actually made any claims that you're somehow some fantastic mathematician. So who cares? In fact, when you said, I don't know that, you've gone to the opponent and gone, can you tell me then? And they have, and you've gone, oh, thanks. It's not like you lack humility, right? Bloody hell.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness to Wolfie, I have to say kudos, because Wolfie didn't attack me on it. He just said, he went, what does he do, man? He showed me, and he actually worked out, remember that 1 inch thing? He worked out that it would be 1/3 of a mile. That would be where your horizon would be. And without attacking me on it, he worked it out and he showed me how it's done and whatever else. At first he was saying, surely that's a lie, you must have learned it.
Oh my God. See, I was going to turn water into wine in that regard. But, okay. So he was very kind to you about it. Yeah, you know why? Because if he'd had that conversation with me, you didn't understand how to do it in metric. You divide by 0.83, blah, 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 blah. You didn't know how to do that, Nathan. And I'd sit there with a little smile on my face, listening to him babbling on at me about I don't understand how to calculate the geometric physical horizons limitations. Oh, really? Oh, you carry on. Correct me on how to calculate that physical geometric sphere edge horizon, you complete idiot. And then they'd get a taste of my fucking bollocks, Brian. So you can be damn sure he'd have been nice to you. He wouldn't have got the same treatment from me after correcting me on my maths. for the geometric horizon, Wolfie. Oh, yeah, that lasted a long time before you got a taste of my sweaty bollocks when I point out Black Swan. You corrected me on where the geometric horizon is. Do you want to now double down and double speak about how we haven't got that and nobody's seeing it and it's not No Atmo Day? Yeah, that would have been embarrassing, wouldn't it, after he'd spent 10 minutes correcting me on my maths for a horizon that doesn't exist? That's what it got from me, Brian. But obviously that's now dissolved and that water ain't turning into wine for me. But no matter. Oh, well.
Well, I did spot that he was giving me just under a third of a mile as the answer. And that was not 6 miles, as I could see. So that was obviously very problematic for the globe. But he didn't twist the screw. His reply back to me, I haven't read it, but he didn't twist the screw, as he didn't attack me on it. He went, well, look, you can't do this, or this is how you do it. And when he showed me, it was easy. If someone in school showed me like that, because I didn't learn it in school, but if someone, like there was other maths things, and it didn't make any sense to me, and it was just because of how they were being taught. You know,
I see. So in a very nice way, he left aside how it's being explained in regards to our physical reality at the horizon and just gave you a very kind-hearted maths lesson because he was generous like that. And then obviously because it was also bright and happy and flowers, and it didn't matter that what he's detailing is his fundamentalist religious belief that we debunked in 2020. The maths thereof in his fantasy, abstract world of maths that doesn't exist beyond the maths. We need correcting on that because it's useful for... Oh, yeah, Wolfie, is it? Yeah, we don't see it. It's not No Atmo Day. Why am I being given the maths for it? When is it useful? Is it only in the maths like I was told by Rumpus? So when does this sphere-edged geometric horizon that you're giving me the maths correctly for come into play, Roofy? Eh? Is it being corrected for? Is it your dip correction? Why is it No Atmo Day? Nah, we debunked that in 2020 now, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I mean, with Wolfie, I would say, right, because some of the others were giving me a hard time about it. With Wolfie, I was just like, I'm not going to make a thing out of it because he actually showed me how to do it. And I go, fair enough, right? You know, him and me were opposing people online, and he could have turned the screw and he didn't. So I go, fair enough. But I did recognise that he was talking about 1/3 of a mile, or just under 1/3, which is obviously bad for the globe for that observation. But it was what was funny was that Ruhif thought that this was going to be some kind of a globe proof. That was what, like, and I understand if Wolfie was in here, you would have done something different, and I understand that, and I get that.
Yeah. Roofy thought it was a globe proof because suddenly the mathematics of a geometric horizon's come under question. So for just a brief moment, there was this straw that Roofy could clutch at that might have regained him a geometric horizon to maths. Do we have that geometric horizon? Not, discounting the fact that I've just spent a good 2 or 3 minutes explaining how I would have definitely turned the screws. And I was, as I say, hoping that they were going to come in and correct me.
No, we don't. We don't have that.
Oh, right.
That's
so when you say he
geometrical
showed... There was a follow-up for you specifically, Brian. When you said he showed you how to do it, what was it exactly that he was showing you how to do it?
Well, he showed me how to do a square root, and then he showed me the calculations for the 1-inch observation to calculate for where the geometric horizon would be.
Oh! So he was telling you how to calculate for a debunked, not visible, only in existing in a maths horizon then? How useful is that, given that the discussion currently is about how to acquire an elevation angle? And we've got a Roofy over a barrel claiming that you do dip correction with a straight line to a geometric horizon we can't see. Maybe it's useful for Roofy's maths that he's utilising when he can't see a geometric horizon to make the correction with. Maybe that's what it was useful for, Brian. So you understand how fucking idiotic Roofy is when he uses the geometric horizon to do dip correction. Maybe that's what it was useful for.
Well, I don't see how me having a 1-inch observation and seeing a ship 6 miles away is a globe proof, because that's where it comes from.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
since we're in this kumbaya moment, maybe one of their own could teach one of their own. I hope Chocolate's listening. Maybe Virus could get with Ruhiv and show him how he can look in a certain direction where there is no refraction and no Atmo day direction that only Virus has at this moment.
So to paraphrase, you're saying, "Hey Ruthie, how is it no Atmo day in your maths?" I'm sure Adam's got a take on this if he's not got his back against the wall working. We'll find out shortly, maybe.
Yeah, Adam's
Yeah, the box is a killer. I mean, everything is a killer, but when you see the box, it's like there really is no way to wiggle out of this.
They're boxed in, Eli.
By box, you mean?
Yeah, you got the
Euclidean.
zenith distance and the co-altitude, and it's like, bruh, you definitely do have to have those verticals parallel.
When I saw that, sorry, Eli. When I saw that picture for the first time, I said, "Oh my gosh, they can't actually be showing this, can they?"
No.
Again, we've got a lot to thank Brian for in that regard. As much as it's been made perfectly clear from 10th, a part of the demonstrations and processes we described on the live show that we were took through, Brian has gone out of his way to make it abundantly clear that you can't use diverging zeniths. That the process requires them to be parallel, and anything that isn't parallel isn't going to work with that process. The process that intrinsically has a flat Earth as part of the process. Again, speaking to John's point back on the live show, this isn't agree or disagree. That's how it's done.
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, that's true. At present, they're denying what the co-altitude and zenith distance is. They're denying that there is a roof to the depression angle, and they're denying that there is obviously a horizontal baseline to the elevation angle. They think at the depression angle, which is an angle between the observer zenith and where the angle line is, they think that is the zenith distance.
Hold on. I'm really sorry to have to correct you. I thought we established that your terminology is wrong. When you describe it as a depression angle, it'd only be a depression angle if you stood at the star, right? So down from horizontal. Well, your roof would be the adjacent if it's a depression angle, but then it's only described that way if the angle's effectively upside down compared to what you would be doing on the ground. So you're standing at the star, and then you've got a horizontal line that's parallel with the ground. Well, that's your adjacent. If the depression angle is coming down from the star, obviously that's a bit of a tricky wicket to get over because you're never going to describe it that way because you never stood measuring that angle. But in literal reality, I'm not decrying you because you are absolutely correct. When you minus it from 90, describe it in that way in the maths, that is what the angle is. But I only want to correct it because somebody had you over a barrel recently, and I think 10th and I were like, I don't know, sort of agreeing with you, but by the same token saying I can see how somebody might major on the minors on this little detail. Do you remember?
I've got 2 slides and answer be.
They have tried that where like the depression angle is the zenith angle, right? But they mess that up. They can't go back and try that a second time, any of them, because they messed it up because they confused then the zenith angle with zenith distance and co-altitude, because the zenith angle, zenith distance and co-altitude. If your zenith angle, if you just to label it, for an example, if my elevation angle is 45 degrees, right, and I've done all my corrections, and I have a horizontal baseline for my 45-degree elevation angle, then my depression angle is also 45 degrees, because it's 45 from 90, right? So the thing about that is this: that's my angle, right? That's not calculated into a zenith distance yet. That's my depression angle or a zenith angle. My zenith distance is 45 times 60. And how I establish that is across what would be the adjacent to the depression angle, the roof of the zenith angle, right? Which is my co-altitude, the co-altitude of my zenith as the observer, matching the altitude of the star. And that is my co-altitude zenith distance, and then between the observer and the GP, that is also zenith distance, and also the radius of my circle of equal altitude. So they got it all completely wrong.
No, I get it.
Attack me on that.
Just for the audience's benefit, while Brian was describing that, right, I was waving my mouse over the relevant lines and angles that Brian was describing. But Brian doesn't have this diagram in front of him. Just want to point out that Brian's doing that verbally off the top of his head without any diagram. I mean, to my credit, I'm following along with what he's talking about, but that's about as good as my credit goes. But thank you, 10th, for posting the slide. It was brilliant, perfect timing. It went nicely with Brian. I just wanted the audience to be aware that he's not looking at this diagram or moving the mouse. I'm doing that. He's just doing it off the top of his head because he can rattle it off verbally pretty much in debate now, right, Brian? You don't need diagrams. You don't need any prompting. You just know how it's done.
Yeah. All it is some kind of a square or rectangle. That's all it's going to be.
Yep.
And it'll be determined by the angle.
I've got the next slide up, 10th. I'm way ahead of you, but thank you for posting.
Can we? Okay, so you're already on. Can we go back to the black and white square box first? And let me just go through all three of these, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me when you got it up there on the screen.
I'm on the screen. I'm going to round out after this presentation. Go ahead.
Okay, so you can see here the square box that Brian and Nathan are talking about. And you could see 290 degrees. You could even see them right 90 degrees at the sub point or GP of the star. Okay, so there's your right angle that they keep denying. And the observer's position is on the Earth, and there's your circle of equal altitude. And you're somewhere on that circle until you do 2 or 3 of these, and then you can triangulate the observer from the GP of the luminaries based on the nautical almanac, time and date, and everything else. So that's how it works. No questions there. But as you can see, the box here depicts a second angle, which is the co-altitude. That is the complementary. This is what you subtract 90 from to get. Now, if you go, you can see that is a straight line from the zenith of the vertical of the observer to the star, where the star's zenith is GP, positioned over the Earth as a vertical as well. So it's a box. There's no doubt it's a box. Let's go to the next slide. And then here, using an airplane and a tree to kind of educate people as to what's happening, you can do this way. So you see the distance on the ground from where the airplane is directly over the ground and where the tree is. And from an angle, you can see what they're doing here. And the co-altitude would be that top box as well. And that would be the depression angle that Brian's talking about from the airplane, because there is someone in the airplane. Okay, there's nobody in the star in the previous one. Next one. This one is going to hurt. What is the zenith of the observer? And we know that the sun, you can see right under the sun, the right angle, it shows it in that beige colored box or whatever that color is. So you see a right angle from the observer to the sun, and you see a vertical from the sun to the GP on the plane there, not the curve there, but the plane. But that co-altitude, that complement, when you minus from 90, is called the zenith what? What's that second word?
Angle.
Angle. So to get the distance times, right, the complement altitude times 60 nautical miles is a zenith angle distance. What's an angle?
2 straight lines.
Well, thank you very much. It's over right there. It's a zenith angle that gives you the zenith distance, which is how you get the distance between where the sun is directly over the Earth to the observer, so you can triangulate yourself after 2 or 3 of these circle of equal altitudes. It's a zenith angle, still requiring straight lines, ballers.
For the audience's benefit, so this is Brian's box. This is his roof to a 90-degree point at the sun in this example, and then down through the zenith to the observer, 90 degrees along the baseline, that's the flat Earth we're standing on and navigating, to the GP, that's the geographical or ground position of the Sun, again with 90 degrees below it. If you're going to be getting co-altitude measurements, you need this to be a box so you can minus it from 90 degrees. The 90 degree line described as a roof by Brian would be the adjacent to this depression angle when reversed. But as 10th's just highlighted, and this is how this extra bit's been sort of added on to Brian's excellent and eloquent descriptions to date, is to say that you're never going to be standing on this position at the Sun to call this a depression angle. But it's accurately described that way when Brian's minusing from 90 and describing something that's contained within a box with 90 degrees at all points, at your zenith, at the GP of the star, when you're minusing from 90, when you're getting your zenith angle. So all of those things require a box.
I got a request. I'm putting all those diagrams into Discord. I need a source. When you put 10th, when you put diagrams in there, could you put a source somewhere around it?
Oh boy. I just type in zenith angle and depression angle and all the different words you see on the screen now, and I go to images, and they're plentiful. I just don't copy the source.
Yeah, just so to keep QE happy, from now on, can you just write reference and then put like maybe 2 ditto marks and then put Google Images, and then that'll keep him well happy.
Google Images, that's great. Yeah, they're very abundant, and even better ones that I'm showing, because I've got thousands of them saved, so I just don't copy. Since it's an image, I don't copy the reference.
Sounds like you're going to have to go back to the beginning then and start all over.
I'll start all over, no worries. Okay, right, let's just start all over. So you go to your favourite search engine, Bing or whatever, type in GOOGLE. You there yet?
Yeah. Can you text that to me? It's slow hard following.
There should be a search engine called Dingleberry.
Well, as you can tell in the box that Brian and Celestial Navigation uses, and Brian explains, there are 4 90s. Each corner of the box is a 90. And so it's like, where's your curve?
Brian, can you mute?
Sorry, Nathan, I didn't realize I was off mute. Sorry.
So, I mean, since it works like the way we're showing, because that's the way they tell us it works, not the way we say it works.
This looks like the first two look like they're. The first two look like they're out of a book. It says figure, angle of elevation. It has theta. It has observer. It has a triangle. The angle coming out from the observer's eye. This looks like it's from a book.
The first one, the black and white one, I believe is from my AirNav. Let me look over there. Air Navigation Volume 1 and 2.
We're definitely getting somewhere. We're narrowing it down. I'll just write this down. From a book. Okay, we're getting closer.
We are getting closer. And
yeah, well,
line
I just realized...
if view. So the other one, line if view, it looks like it has the observer's eyes. It looks like a depression angle.
Oh, you're looking at the previous slides. I'm looking at the last 3 slides. I'm sorry, QE.
Yeah, no, I was posting them before I went and got breakfast. All right, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, the last 3 slides, the black and white one, I believe is from my Air Navigation 1 and 2 book, so I could easily reference that one.
Okay.
Can I ask?
I can't.
QE something.
You can ask me something. I'm trying to finish my breakfast.
Well, I'm eating too, so that makes it 50-50.
Well, after I ask you the question,
fried potatoes are easy to eat. I've got eggs, sausage, and toast.
As Brian is
I'm
asking
eating
you,
toasted cheese.
Gosh, can you wait a minute? As Brian is asking you the question, you could chew on it for a while.
And Brian's not posh. They're not fried. They're just boiled.
Yeah. Are you looking for the sources of them because ballers are asking you for the sources?
No, no, I don't do that because somebody asked me. I do it out of habit.
Is this admin discussion going anywhere, or should I round out?
Round out.
I just want to.
Yeah. You're talking admin at the moment. It's about as boring as it
4
gets.
more hours.
This is not a cliffhanger.
Well, Ruhif was looking for when I did. I used some not the one with the airplane, but the other two I used in my second last video, I think last video. And Ruhif was looking for the origins of them, and I wouldn't give them to him. It's like he wants to go and find the book or whatever they came from, and then go and find the word globe or sphere or curve or arc, and then say, look, or a great circle route, something like that, and then say, look, it's a globe book. Do you know what I mean? That's what he wants to do. So I won't give them to him because they don't produce. Sorry, 1 second. They don't produce citations to back them. They just produce a word or a term. They don't produce anything to back them. There's no one describing using one on.
Now they want to send you on a globe treasure hunt, right? That's what they want to do.
No,
they don't
Brian,
actually have one.
It's not a treasure hunt. Brian's got it absolutely right. What they want to do, and QE sums this up when he's like, you don't understand the difference between a citation and a reference. They want the reference so they can go to page 37 when Brian's description of how to measure an angle's on page 1 in the introduction. And go, here we go. On page 37, this guy says, because we're on a sphere Earth, and then explains how three-toed gnomes function. Therefore, his description of how you acquire a flat Earth elevation angle measurement from a flat baseline to use it flat and navigate flat is invalid. That's what he wants to do. Brian's right.
Yeah, even that first diagram there, where it shows the co-altitude in the diagram, over to the left of that, it says something about great circle route, right? Now, I've used that diagram in the past, and I will continue to use it. But this great circle route thing, right? My whole point of using that was in this time because of the parallel zeniths, right? Because they're parallel, they're showing what co-altitude is, what the observer zenith is, and everything is needed is being shown. Right? The co-altitude is shown exactly. It has to match the altitude of the star. Right? And not one of them mentioned anything about great circle route to me on this diagram this time. But when I was using it to show the elevation angle before they started jumping on, it says great circle route on that diagram.
Okay, I get it. Do you want to know why this... I've got this in my slideshow. The reason I've got it is because when 10th Man presented this probably 6 months ago, the reason he presented it, the main purpose of its use as a diagram was to say, look, this is how they detail and convince people they're on a sphere. If you look at the bottom baseline, it's curving, right? That's their great circle, the great circle you're describing, right? The baseline has got a curve to it. No, it hasn't. At the stars, GP, it's marked. What does it say, Brian, at the GP point in the angle? Even though it's a curve that's going through that angle, what does it say?
Top point?
It says 90 degrees.
Sorry.
So at the GP of the star, it's 90 degrees. And all of the descriptions that go along with this will talk about minusing from 90, etc., etc. So if this is, as they would like to infer, because it's labelled and depicted as a curved line, actually a curved line along the ground we're standing on, because that's what we're measuring in this process, then this is not 90 degrees anymore. You can't get 90 degrees from a curved baseline, and that was the whole point of this being a diagram that we used. Here's how ball believers trick you into thinking that you've got a great circle, a curved baseline. They show you how you get 90 degrees from a curve. No, you don't. This is and must be flat for this to be 90 degrees. What's that? They say, but look in the diagram, it's curving. That's all you need to convince you're on a sphere when it's clearly marked with 90 on it. And that's how the maths works. Aren't they all supposed to be great mathematicians? Yeah, if it's curved, it's not 90. It's that simple.
Well, they didn't. Not one of them mentioned the great circle route part of this diagram, and most of them know about it. That's written on this diagram because I showed this exact diagram, but a color version, a more clear version before, and they were trying to jump on that to try and curve the baseline of the elevation angle. It didn't work, right? But that's the kind of nonsense they do. But this time they ignored that. They literally, I've been told that I haven't shown any celestial navigation evidence that backs me, even though I've been shown like just this diagram alone proves everything I say.
It's been shown. They've got their heads in the sand at the moment. That's the only way I can describe it. McToon typifies this beautifully. So, as I said in the live show, I'm up to 48 times laying it out in no uncertain terms that you cannot get an elevation angle from a curved baseline. You can only get an elevation angle from a flat Earth. The elevation angle measurement in his challenge negates the challenge. So, having explained this 48 times to Toon, he says, nobody's addressed my challenge. They literally just stick their head straight in the sand as deep as it can go and go, la, 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 la. Yeah, no one's addressed my challenge. Yeah, we have. It required a flat plane in the first instance. Your challenge is to show how a flat plane can be used. It could only be a challenge in the first place once you got your flat Earth angles, you clown.
Yeah,
right,
he's a clown. He can't tie his shoes. Yes, I got you. Yeah. No, hold up. Right before I want to get back to the point that you made, and Brian brought up the point that all they want when we give them a source is to go to that place on page 37 or 5,675 from the source that we've gave them from the citation from page 1. And I heard a couple people bow their back. No, you want to do that because you're enabling them to go ahead and face plant with an all or nothing fallacy. So it's, you want to stay in concordance with righteousness to allow them to face plant, in other words. So I need the damn sources.
Okay, it's an all or nothing fallacy and a cherry picking fallacy.
I got the source for you in Master B. You can show it, Nathan. The Air Force.
You know what else grieves me? I'm sorry, 10th. When that happens in that scenario, we'll use Ruhift as a continued example, right? So he goes to page 37. He goes and says, here's a globe. He says it's a globe in this sentence. There you go. Debunked everything that the guy said in the introduction about acquisition of flat Earth angles. Ha ha ha. Now that is cherry picking. Selectively picking something out of the context to present it to you. But while that's happening... Oh, go on.
I was thinking the same. I was going...
Hold on, I haven't made my point yet.
Because...
Hold on.
Okay.
My point is, when that's happening, what QE in this example would be charged with, as that happens, is cherry picking. In other words, this is how it'd go down. The citation specific to your claim is presented. Then your opponent says, that's just cherry picking, give me the reference. They then go and cherry pick out of the reference something that says the word globe and go, there you go, you're debunked. That's how it actually goes down. The most infuriating bit being that they call you on cherry picking when they do that.
That wouldn't be cherry picking.
I guess technically. Well,
I'll take it.
Only because they're lying about the... Okay.
I'll take it. That's not cherry picking. When they go and find something totally different off topic, because if I post something about elevation angles and they're only gotten from a flat baseline, then anything that they grab must deal with that exact subject, elevation angles. Now, if they go get something else, that's not cherry picking. That's just dumb fuckery and an all or nothing fallacy.
Okay. I thought taking something out of context in a statement would be translatable if this statement is then expanded out to another 37 pages along, but obviously not.
Yeah, it has to deal with the exact topic of my citation, right? What is inside those quotes, the boundaries. Stop it right there, no matter where it's gotten from, right? So that's it's an all or nothing fallacy. It's really stupid. It would be exposed in like high school. So the question is, have they graduated high school? That's the question.
I'll give an example of...
Hold on, Eli's waiting.
Saying.
Hold on. Go ahead, Eli.
That was good enough for me. I do want to... Can you... Why is it an all or nothing fallacy? That's what I'm unclear on.
what they're saying, what they're implying by saying that on page 565, your author states the Earth is a globe. So the implication being, without them saying anything, that since he said that, then you must believe that. Follow?
I'll give you a contextual example.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, I'll just give it, as you've asked, I'll assume the audience might be unclear as well. So you've got a 20-page document confession from a prisoner who's been accused of theft. And in page 1 to 3, he describes in detail not only the theft, but events that could only be known by the thief. However, on page 18, he says, I was with my cousin. There is absolutely no way I robbed that bank. There's no way you can prove it. Anybody who claims it is a blatant liar. Then somebody, having read and had it understood within the context and confines of the crime, proven to them that only the perpetrator of the crime could know all those things, and here's his confession detailing those specific things. The person then goes to page 18 and says, but he also said he didn't do it. So you have to accept that he said he didn't do it because it's in the same document.
That you stole it. That's
Can we not make it a little bit more
conceptually
fruity and say it was a murder case?
You realise this is a hypothetical case, and whether or not it was for murder or stealing ice creams matters not, Anthony. That's copyright Nathan Oakley, 1980, by the way.
Ice creams is sold like 2019.
I think ice creams are pretty much current and up to date. I know, I've got 2 kids. Ice creams are very popular.
I like ice creams.
So if you've got 2 kids, right, and you've got 2 ice creams, can I take 5 ice creams off you?
No.
Can you be left with -3 ice creams?
Yeah, and that definitely stops all tears. When you say, look, just consider it as having -3. That stops tears immediately.
Anthony, if you want the latest scoop, it has to be ice creams.
If you
So it okay.
That's terrible.
So in the beginning, obviously we're arguing. Well, not even arguing. We're just saying, elevation angles. Okay, what are angles? 2 lines meeting at a vertex. Okay, what's an elevation angle? Angle between the horizontal and the vertical, and that's it. And then they're basically going to the whatever sources of the whatever person is talking about the subject, and that person is a globe believer. So they go, well, even though angles are angles, because this guy says that it's a globe, that part is irrelevant. But that's the point that they're supposed to be speaking to.
Yeah.
So it's also another hand wave dismissal.
And a sprinkling of truth.
It's also non sequitur.
If anyone wants to, sorry, Kiwi, go on.
No, I said it's non sequitur because you're not dealing with the topic. It's also a red herring fallacy.
Okay, I've got air navigation.
Because
they're 10th.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got. I don't know. You guys hearing me?
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Yeah.
We're all agreeing.
Yeah, it's a red herring fallacy, probably above all. It's really incoherent, right? And right close behind it, it's non sequitur because it's not following the topic, right? Elevation angles. You go to something where he demonstrates that this is an elevation angle and how you get it, and then you quickly go to somewhere else where he says he believes in something. Yeah, it's non sequitur. Who cares what he believes? He just demonstrated this back here. Now demonstrate that other thing. That's the only thing that would follow, right?
Perfect.
All right, you got it then?
Yeah, I'm
Nathan?
starting on the front page.
All right, so Q to Master B. This is the black and white reference citation. Air Force Manual 5140, Volume 1. Next.
This is from Google Images. Gotcha. Okay, next.
This is, no, that's from Google Books. That's, and then the page, the actual page where that image is on, the whole page. Air Force Manual 5140, Volume 1 says bottom right. So as I clear my throat there, you can see they've got the box. Now, this is this page talking about how it works. And then I could go to another page, as QE is saying, and they're talking about a globe. But how'd you get this to work on the globe is our question. How can you put a 90, the way you have a 90 on this image, on a curved baseline? How's that? And what the ballers don't understand is it's always a mixture of lies and truth. And a good example, excuse me, of this is the sextant manuals themselves. We were accused of not reading a sextant manual. Well, I own a sextant and I read it. I read other manuals online and downloaded those well in advance of a baller even hearing the word sextant. And in those sextant manuals, they are showing you things that are all globe representations. But in that same sextant manual, they say height of eye is the observer's height, his eye line to the telescope of the sextant needs to come down to sea level to get that right angle. So you can't say in the same book that this thing is a tool that could only work with angles, and at the same time say it works on the curved baseline because you say it works on the sphere, but they are. And so the ballers rush to those other statements, and instead of recognizing outrageous, this is crazy, instead of that, they say, see, it's a globe. They're biased. They're not using critical thinking whatsoever.
And with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hitting the PayPal link and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.